Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're going to be making a sweet potato crunch recipe. So this is something we like to have with Thanksgiving, and tonight we're having some turkey, so I figured I'd just make it for y'all and we'll have that as a side. This can be made in your oven. Everything, how you do it in your oven, I'll tell y'all in the description below. I'm just going to use my Ninja Foodi to do it because I have some food already going in the oven and it can service the same purpose. So we're going to zoom into the pot and let y'all see what we do. So two ways that I make this sweet potato crunch is if you have fresh sweet potatoes, you can bake these and scoop out bake them and scoop out the insides. You'll need about 2 pounds of sweet potatoes for that. Or you can also, if you want to take a shortcut, use some yams. Just drain off the juice of these, and this will save you some cooking time and just make it a little bit easier to get done quicker. So we drained 2 cans of these Bruce's yams. They are in a syrup, so they are going to be more sweetened than sweet potatoes would be. I'm just going to gently mash them up. Now you can put this all in your stand mixer, or you can use a regular hand mixer. Y'all look, I left my eggs inside while I was bringing everything over here. You'll just mix it up, blend it up, and get it all going. But to speed things up, like I said, I'm just using a fork and we're just mashing them up. You could also use a potato masher for this part. But just get an easy little mash on them. Now the reason I'm doing this in my Ninja Foodi today is I have some stuff in the oven right now, but this can bake and then it can even crisp the topping that we're going to put on it. Alright, we're all mashed up, so we're going to toss in here with it the 2 eggs that y'all saw. We're going to crack them and mix them around. And toss in about a teaspoon of vanilla. Do a 1/2 cup of melted butter. Now y'all, if you don't have a measuring cup, a lot of these Rubbermaid containers have measurings on them. So it's pretty cool. It's not going to be an exact science for if you're baking, but if you don't know, just pull out one of your little Rubbermaid containers. Then we're going to do about a teaspoon of pumpkin spice or just regular cinnamon if you don't have pumpkin spice mixture. We'll use 1/2 cup of plain white sugar. Now if you're making these from sweet potatoes instead of the canned yams, then use closer to a whole cup of sugar because they won't have that sweetened sugary mixture already. They've been setting in. So we're just going to mix this around till it's all nice and coated. We want to break those eggs up and give it evenly mixed around. Now if it's seeming too dry, I'll add in a few splashes of 1/2 or milk. So, that one's not any good. Let me pull another one out. Always check your ingredients when you're using them. Like I said, I usually use 1/2, but you can use regular milk. You could probably use an almond milk as well, but just a few splashes to loosen it up. Alright, y'all. So that's it for this part. We're going to smooth it out I'm going to cover it and let it bake at 375 for about 20-25 minutes until it's starting to set. And then we'll come back and we'll put our topping on it. So I'm going to close our lid. I'm going to power it on, switch it to bake mode, and set it for 20 minutes. We'll see y'all back soon, and we'll get our crumble topping mixture together and put it on top and show y'all how we do that. Okay, so our sweet potato crunch is all finished. It's cooked for right at 20 minutes and the timer's gone off. So now we're going to make the crumb topping that goes on the top that really turns this from just a sweet potato casserole to something yummy and delicious that you'll be wanting to get seconds and thirds and fourths of. So we're going to zoom down to the bowl. And in our little bowl, all I have right here is 1/3 cup of flour. Now, you can use all-purpose flour or self-rising. Just know that if you use self-rising, it does have a little bit of baking soda and salt in it. At this small level, it's not going to make a huge difference, but just so you know what ingredients you have in there. So just 1/3 cup of flour. You want about 1/3 cup of melted butter. About a cup of brown sugar. Now, as y'all can see, that was a little bit less. I'm realizing I desperately need to get to the grocery store. I'm running out of a lot of ingredients. But we're just going to kind of flake this around, get it mixed in, and we're going to add in a cup of pecans. Now, I'm going to use a cup of chopped pecans, and then just because I like to, I add in a few pecan halves also. So this is 1/3 cup measuring cup, so we're going to do 3 cups in here. And you could use walnuts also, and they don't have to be chopped this fine. So if you don't have pre-chopped pecans, just a rough chop is okay. We're going to mix this all around and get it our crumbly topping. So you see how it's not really crumbing up? Probably need to add just a little bit more flour to it. So I'm going to grab the flour just because we really want to get that crumb texture. So give me just a second. Just sprinkle in just a little bit more. We don't want too much, but we definitely want it to have that texture. And this is just what happens when you don't measure. You just kind of eyeball. I may have had a little bit more butter. I'm going to do just a little bit more. And it could also be because I didn't have quite as much sugar. There we go. Alright, so we're going to open up our Ninja Foodi. Now, if you were doing this in the oven, you would do it the same way. Up to this point, we've done everything just like we would do in the oven. But for this, you can see we've started to get that roast on the top. We're just going to sprinkle this in on the top of here, and you would put it right back in the oven. And in this case, our Ninja Foodi has a crisper lid on it, so that's going to work out perfect that we can do it all right here. You just want to have it pretty evenly spaced across the top. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, I do prefer to buy already toasted nuts. I just feel like the flavors are so much deeper. But if not, if you just have regular raw nuts, that's okay also. Just know that if you were ever using this without cooking them, you get a whole lot better flavor if you just take a few minutes to toast your nuts, your pecans, your walnuts, all of that. It's gonna bring a whole deeper, richer flavor to them. So this is a good way. Y'all see me throwing pecans everywhere. But this is a good way to toast them up also. Alright, we're going to toss in a few of these pecan halves, just because I like to have some of the bigger pieces in there also. Again, if you were chopping your own, then you can just leave a few of them a little bit larger, or skip this step altogether. Alright, we're going to close the lid and we're going to turn it on the crisper function. So we're just going to turn it on, click crisp. I'm going to turn it to 375 and we're going to let it go for another 15 minutes. And we'll see y'all back. Hey y'all, so our sweet potato crunch is all finished. It's been sitting a few minutes longer than the 15, but we're going to see how it looks. So it's a little bit more toasty than I usually get in the oven, but that'll be okay. We're going to taste it and see how well it did in our Ninja Foodi. So let's just scoop us up a little section. So the topping got nice and crisp. That's awesome. Nice and fluffy in it. Oh, and I can smell it. It smells so good. So as y'all can see, it's very hot. But we've got a good crust with our crumb topping and our nuts. And then we've got all of our baked fluffy sweet potatoes down underneath. So we want to get a little bite of everything. Now if you puree this or mix it with your stand mixer, it's going to hold its shape a little bit more. You see how I just crushed mine with a fork, so you've got some bigger chunks. If you blend it or put it in your mixer, it's going to hold more like a casserole a little bit better. Still very hot. So good. It almost tastes like a dessert. Like a mix between a souffle and a cake. So good. Can't wait to have this for dinner. I can almost guarantee none will be left over, but hopefully you'll give it a try. Maybe even take it to your next Thanksgiving event. But we'll see y'all next time. Bye.